Good afternoon. Welcome to ELL Plus with me, Charan and Astra.
In this week's programme, local Chinese businesses in Lewisham feel the heat as Brexit negotiations lead to uncertainty.
We speak to Crystal Palace manager Roy Hodgson as he is honoured by Croydon Council.
Ditch the car! That's the message from Lewisham Council as it reveals the borough is the most polluted in London. With the Brexit process in a critical phase and with a vote expected in Parliament next week, we look at how local businesses are being affected by the uncertainty over what direction the country is taking. Ping Ping Chen talked to Chinese business owners in Lewisham to find out what problems foreign businesses are expected to face.
I'll pull this down.
This is the future of cycling.
So if you try and stick it up
A cycle hangar where bikes can be stored and kept safe.
Yeah.
It not only saves space, but it also makes it harder for bikes to be stolen.
Yeah.
The founder of Cycle Hoop, Anthony Lau, came to London over 10 years ago. He started his innovative cycle parking solution in his garage. Now the company has its own premises in Lower Satham, and the business has grown to a collective of around 30 people. But he's worried about Brexit.
So we export 10% to the EU, and we see that being a big market for us, and we don't want to see any barriers to trade with the EU. It's a huge market, it's our neighbour, so it doesn't make sense to close the door.
But Anthony is not the only one fearing for the future. While the government urges exporters to take advantage of big opportunities in places like China and the US. Here at home, some Chinese entrepreneurs think their hard work may come to a grinding halt. With Brexit just a little over 3 months away, tension amongst small foreign businesses is growing.
What Brexit means to the small businesses in the UK, as a change of single market and the tariffs, do they have some import issues? And do they have some difficulty to get staff due to the immigration controls?
Kung Fu Kitchen is a small family restaurant on New Cross Road. It opened 4 years ago. The owner was full of hope. He thought it would be more profitable than running a business in China. Now he's not so sure. What's in prospect is uncertainty.
Speaking of Brexit, most European workers will leave London. My delivery drivers come from Europe, so it will be difficult for me to get staff. Also, the exchange rate of the pound will be affected, so the cost of buying goods will increase. For instance, it only cost me £5 to buy a chicken now, but after Brexit, it could cost £10 to get it.
The only takeaway from this is that Brexit is going to affect every business, small or large, domestic or foreign. Ping Ping Chen for East London Lines.
Ever since Britain voted to leave the EU, various campaign groups have been calling for another referendum. It is often said the young millennials have the biggest impact on voting this time. Puma Masumda has been speaking to young people across Lewisham to find out more.
Young voters are much less likely to vote than the older generation, and many people blame the 2016 Brexit result on this simple fact. With debates taking place about a second referendum, opinion polls suggest young people would be more likely than older people to vote to remain in the EU.
Honestly, come on, England is just going to fall down without Europe, EU, and it's just going to be really
People voted for it. I don't agree with it, but it's the way democracy works. It will have to happen now.
I think what we need to do is stop focusing too much on who voted and who didn't, and try and work together and just find some kind of solution.
Coming from a different country and I just got here, I'm not sure if I'm going to feel welcomed throughout my 3 years studying here.
I think we have to put our full power behind it and support the decision that everyone's made.
Is the government doing enough to encourage the young people to vote? We spoke to the students in southeast London.
I don't think the government can do very much. I think the government have done all they can by being so awful.
I think Brexit's probably done enough, to be honest. I feel like the younger audiences will actually go and vote now. I just think that without proportional representation as a system of voting, I don't think you're ever going to get like a truly representative vote for the young people or for anybody.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that propaganda is a way and advertising is a way, and I don't know, something that would reach young students. So maybe advertising through other students, or I don't know, social media would be a good way to promote students to vote.
Those who support a second referendum are also keen to allow 16 and 17-year-olds to cast a vote. But only time will tell if a second vote could be the outcome of the current situation. Pooja Mazumdar reporting for East London Lines.
Over 6,000 people are homeless in Hackney. According to housing charity Shelter, that makes the borough the 10th worst in the area for those in need of a home. Chloe Collins reports.
This winter, homelessness is becoming more noticeable across Hackney. The number of people requiring temporary accommodation in the borough has risen by 13% since April. For many, a key cause of homelessness is illness and a family breakdown.
I left my husband from violence, came here. That's nothing to do, it's no one's fault why I came here. It's my own problem, it's my own fault, it's for me to deal with. But I'm just saying, it's not a laugh, no one wants to be here, no one doesn't want to be sitting here. It's not nice, it's very stressful. I've had a few breakdowns. I felt suicidal myself, I felt like ending my life. I was freezing with the cold. The charities, all these hostels and everything like that, they should open more up, more beds, a bit more help, a bit more supportful towards people that's on the streets.
Campaigners say homelessness is being made worse by increased rents, costs in welfare, and a lack of affordable housing. Homeless shelters are also facing more challenges in providing support to homeless people who want to turn their lives around.
So the Hackney Minter Night Shelter, we have about 120 people who come through our door every year. That might not sound many, but we get about 70 into more long-term accommodation. So we've got a pretty good hit rate, if you like, of getting people into a better place. So some of the challenges are that's getting more difficult. It's getting more difficult because the local authority support and the private rental sector isn't as accessible as it once was.
With Christmas right around the corner and a cold snap looming, 'tis the season for giving, and those sleeping on the street are not feeling the joyful spirit. In UK Charity Week, campaigners say we need to be aware of the extent of homelessness and the increasing challenges homeless people face to get off the street. Chloe Collins, East London Lines.
Customers of the Autophone network have been without mobile data all day following a fault with their systems. This has affected millions of the customers across London today. Let's cross live now to our reporter, Exara Helmi. Exara, what's the impact?
Hi there. Millions of O2 customers have been left without 4G data access this morning due to third-party software issues. O2 issued a public apology on their website, classing it as a high-priority investigation. They encourage users to access Wi-Fi where possible. Reports began to flood in from 4:45 a.m. this morning until 8 a.m. And TfL has publicly apologised for it affecting the bus services. One O2 customer was on her way to Great Ormond Street Hospital with her ill daughter when data and bus services went down. O2 announced that their technical teams were working very hard and ensure that it will be fixed quickly. Exara Helmi reporting from New Cross, London.
Thank you, Exara. Now to local news. We have Alex Doe in the studio. Hello, Alex.
Hello, New figure revealed the state of the pub industries as a record number of pubs in Croydon closed. Nearly 1 in 3 pubs in Croydon have closed in the last 10 years, leaving only 90 pubs and bars in the boroughs. That's an estimated of 40 fewer than in 2008. Larger chains have been planned for focusing on bigger bars at the expense of smaller pubs. The turnover of the pub industry, however, remains strong. Bus passengers could see big change to their journey in Croydon town centre due to the proposal to alter 11 bus routes. The proposal is to terminate the routes earlier so they would no longer serve the whole town centre. Transport for London, however, say the change will make the bus network simpler and more efficient, so also arguing it will cut the traffic to the roads. That's all for local news for now. Back to you, Astra and Cholang.
Still to come on ELE Plus, we bring you an exclusive interview with the Crystal Palace boss Roy Hodgson.
We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back. The former England boss and current manager of Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson, has been awarded the Freedom of Borough of Croydon. It's the highest honor the Crown Council can give. After the ceremony, he spoke exclusively to Homayun Nazir.
Applause for Roy Hodgson in Croydon's council on Monday evening. He has just been awarded the Freedom of the Borough by the Mayor Benedict Khan. Four-time Olympian Donna Fraser was also awarded.
Very honoured, very proud to have been given such an honour as well. It's a very humbling experience, having been born and brought up here in Croydon, to come back after many years abroad and to work at Crystal Palace, my boyhood club and the team I've always supported, and to then be given the freedom of the borough. It's something which I could never have dreamt of that would happen to me, and I'm really very, very pleased that it has happened, and very flattered, if you like, by the fact that the council have decided to give me this award. I see things all the time, places all the time that trigger so many memories. So it's hard to highlight one or two. There have been so many. We believe in Croydon, we believe in trying to represent the borough in the best possible way and do as much as we can for the borough, because the people of the borough do so much for us by supporting us and trying to keep us in the league we want to play in.
Hodgson, born in 1947, is one of the most famous English managers of this era. He has managed 16 different teams in 8 countries. They include Inter Milan, Copenhagen, Fulham, Liverpool and England. In 2017, he was appointed manager of Crystal Palace. Founded in 1905, Crystal Palace is one of the oldest clubs in Croydon.
I mean, he's a Croydon boy. He's done magnificent throughout his career. Some of the jobs he's done in management have been phenomenal, and I think it's very well deserved.
Croydon born and bred, Roy Hodgson started his youth football here. After years of managerial duties abroad, he is back in his hometown club, this time as their manager and free man of the borough. It feels like a circle of life is complete. Homayun Nazir, East London Lines.
And now for the sports news, Scott Clark.
Thank you, guys. Crystal Palace last Saturday claimed their first home win against Burnley. James MacArthur scored first to put Palace in the lead. This was then followed by a superb goal from Andros Townsend, who secured the win. But Palace lost last Tuesday to Brighton, who scored 3 goals in the first half. They stay in 15th place, 3 points clear from the relegation zone. Charlton's men's team is sitting 6th in League One after a 4th consecutive win at Burton Albion last Tuesday. They go to Blackpool on Saturday, who have 2 places below them. In the Championship, Millwall drew against Bristol and sit in the relegation zone. Their next opponent is Hull City. Now on to the FA Women's Championship. Charlton FC won comfortably last Sunday against Leicester. They sit in 2nd place, just behind Manchester United. Crystal Palace ladies lost 3-1 against Aston Villa. They play Tottenham next. Millwall's Lionesses are in last place with only 2 points. After the winter break, they will play their local rivals Crystal Palace. Now for boxing, on December 15th, Greenwich heavyweight talent Daniel Dubois will have his 4th fight of 2018. He faces Californian-based Romanian Razvan Cojanu at the Brentwood Center. That is all for sports. Thank you, guys.
According to Lewisham Council, the borough is the most polluted in London. Exhaust fumes from car engines is one of the biggest offenders. Lewisham Council is now urging parents to walk to school with their children, but if they must drive, they should turn off their engines when waiting at traffic lights. Jemima Childs reports.
We already know that air quality in London is bad, but in Lewisham, the council states that pollution levels are 6 times higher than the average in the capital. Lewisham Council wants to launch a behaviour change campaign for the residents of the borough. They want to open green spaces, set car speed limits and promote safe cycling routes. A 5-year air quality action plan is currently in progress until the year 2021, and the council hopes to promote awareness for the pollution problem. Lewisham Council want to do something about this. They are working with campaign group Idling Action and Sir Francis Drake Primary School in Deptford to talk to children about the effect cars are having on the environment. The idea is to encourage parents to either walk to school to pick their children up or switch off their engines while they wait.
So we're here today at Sir Francis Drake Primary to teach the kids and hopefully the parents on the dangers of idling their engines when they're stationary in their cars, usually while they're waiting for their kids to come home from school.
This will reduce localised air pollution and improve air quality in the workplace and community. Despite the school promoting clean air awareness, London still has the worst nitrogen dioxide levels in Europe. The Lewisham Air Quality app is an interactive way the council are reaching out to the community, as it allows residents to find out what the pollution forecast is like that day and gives them information about what they can do to reduce air pollution. By choosing to walk instead of drive, parents are helping to prevent the pollution problem in the borough. Jemima Childs, East London Lines.
That's it for now. Thank you for joining us.
We will see you next week.